2016. Let's see. All in favor of 100-2016, which is the Butandari settlement, signify by saying aye. Those opposed, that carries unanimously. 101-16 is the settlement related to Randy Hoskins, aka Randy White. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, that item carries unanimously. The last one is the executive session item 143, related to utility companies. Legislative Committee Whitten has a question. Oh, I'm sorry. Legislative Carmen.
Hi. First thing, we didn't get a copy of the settlement agreement in the backup for this, and I'm wondering why we didn't.
I apologize, legislator. I think it was just an oversight. It just didn't get to you till today, but we'll address that in the future.
Okay, thank you. I'm willing to vote yes on this to pass this through, but I would very much like to see that before the full ledge in 2 weeks.
Absolutely.
All right, thank you very much. And I would also have some questions for OMB on this, not legal. Oh wait, I don't. Never mind. I'm sorry.
Ready.
Stay there.
All right. That was weird.
I'm sorry. Come back. OMB, paging OMB.
No. You only get to ask once. You already let him go.
After 5 o'clock.
Sorry about that. Okay, now that I've got you.
You can't play this game.
So this is, I'm not getting into the legal because I know we can't talk about that in public, but the settlement for this, how are we going to pay for this?
My understanding is that we're going to be using our litigation fund. The 2016 budget included approximately $20 million as an appropriation in the litigation fund to cover any potential judgments.
So that won't cover it though, $20 million.
I don't know how much I can say about the payment, so.
I don't want to have to go to executive session,
Okay,
but it's
fine.
a total dollar amount, but how it will be paid, there are sufficient monies in the litigation fund to cover the entire amount.
All right, so that, okay, fair enough, you're right. My concern though is that with the other towns, we're currently dealing with the other towns with similar kinds of cases, and I'm worried that there will not be enough money to pay everything that we have to pay coming down the pike with Hempstead and North Hempstead.
I think my only statement to that would be is we would address it if there is some type of settlement with those, but we may also be litigating these cases. So.
Right. Can we talk about how much is due in pending judgments currently being litigated in regard to this sort of judgment case with the town of Hempstead?
With the town of Hempstead, we have between actual judgments that have been reduced, it's approximately 25 million.
Okay.
Of those that have not been reduced to judgment, it is significantly higher than that. We've estimated a substantial amount for those in excess of the 25 million that are just have been reduced to judgment to date.
Okay. Because to me, this is a budget issue, right? I'm worried that these settlements will put at risk if they have to come out of, if the litigation fund is depleted, it'll have to come out of operating funds, and that could put a hole in our budget for other programs.
I would state that we have sufficient funds in our litigation fund, and it will not deplete the entire fund.
So you're confident that the litigation fund would cover this and perhaps other towns as well?
Without knowing how much those other towns would be, I don't know, but clearly that could also be part of the negotiating factor of how much money you have available to settle with.
Okay, and just another question. I don't know if this is an OMB question, but I'm just wondering if it's fair to settle with the town of Oyster Bay before we know what we have to do with Hempstead and North Hempstead.
I think any time that the county has an opportunity to settle a case that is favorable and in the best interest of the county. It is what the county, what we would recommend for the county to do. It may even, I can't say for certain, but it may help us bring resolution to these cases that have been ongoing for over 15 years. So creating certainty and bringing an end to litigation that only has created substantial liability, potential liability for the county. I think it's overall a good decision, and that's why we're recommending settlement.
So, from what I understand, this was filed on Friday.
Yes.
I'm wondering why this is being rushed. Here we are on Monday, and we're being asked to vote on this so quickly.
I think once the opportunity of a real settlement was reached and struck by all the parties, I think we wanted to bring it to the legislature as soon as possible to cut it off, if you will. I don't want to go too much because we discussed it broadly in executive session, but these judgments do carry interest on them, so that there is, I don't want to say too much in the public forum,
Yes.
but that is a savings. The settlement presents a savings to the county.
Okay, I see that point. So, back to OMB. I am very worried because this is the Finance Committee, from the budgetary point of view, that we're not going to blow a hole in our budget with these sorts of things, since we're not going to be using bonded money for them, obviously. And that the litigation fund would cover, we won't talk about any amounts, but hypothetically could cover these sorts of things going forward.
The administration is very comfortable that we have sufficient funds in the litigation fund to address this settlement. I think we have to address each potential settlement as they happen.
Okay. Thank you.
I just wanted to say, I mean, they were all very good points raised by Legislator Curran, but I think if we have what I consider a favorable settlement before us, I would not want to lose that settlement by delaying the decision. Legislator DeBrizzi Whittam.
Is it possible to get a list of all the garbage districts and copies of all, that are litigating and all their, just to see where we are and what status for each one?
Legislator, we could provide that
Can we have that before Ledge?
on the 25th. Certainly.
And again, stating also that we really need a copy. How can we vote on, I'm not going to vote for this because I haven't seen a copy of the decision, a settlement rather, and I just think it's, I'm sorry, and I don't even know what the terms are. I haven't read it, and neither has my counsel, so you have to provide us with this information. I mean, it can't, something that's this much money can't be an oversight. I mean, that's like, it's a very important part of our day, so you can't neglect to give us the information.
I appreciate that, Legislator, and I believe everything that was discussed in the executive session outlined all the terms of the settlement.
I didn't
and if
have
you have any
anything.
questions, I'd be more than happy to
Before
address
I
them in the
vote-
executive session again and go through it with you.
No, I would like to just read it, so I appreciate your efforts, but, we really have to have it in hand before we can vote on it, because I have nothing to show, nothing is recorded in executive session, so.
So we'll have
Can
that
I-
for the whole
All right, and can I just ask Maurice to come up, please? Maurice, Mr. Chalmers, I apologize.
Maurice Chalmers or LBR? Maurice Chalmers or LBR?
Hello. Maurice, can you give me your most recent account for the balance that we have in the litigation settlement account?
It's approximately $20 million for the 2016 budget.
And what is it today?
I could check for you. I would probably guess that it's close to 20 million, but I could check and give you an exact amount.
Do you know how much of that has been obligated already?
I would have to check and get back to you and tell you the exact amount.
Because that's a different amount from what I heard. I'm sorry?
Currently, what's showing in the current obligation is around 18, but we also have other settlements that are paid through payroll that are going to be moving over. So what we will be having available is about approximately 15.
That's the number I heard, is 15. So we have 15 million available. All right, Laura, I think.
Yeah, one more, let's just address the chair.
One more quick one. Thank you. So with the litigation fund, this could cover hypothetically these sorts of things. But what if there are other suits and damages that are unrelated to this, other kinds of suits and damages? Are you confident that those could be covered as well?
Yes.
And how is it, can you explain, excuse my ignorance, how it is replenished?
Sure. The fund is generated by either surpluses that we anticipate generating during the year, and then we move the money into the fund.
Surpluses.
Right.
Yeah.
What we're trying to do is build so that we're not borrowing for these types of expenses.
Right. Okay, so you're confident that the litigation fund, we would get enough in surpluses to cover this sort of thing, plus any other suits and damages that we might not predict, that we don't know they come from left field?
Correct. Yeah, I mean, we've been in consultation with the county attorney's office, looking at things that they think they may settle during the year, and we feel that we have sufficient funding.
Okay. Thanks.
I just said if I know.
Good evening. So on the replenishment, you said we replenish using surplus funds, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so when we just, on item 142-16, where we did the transfer, anticipating that we'd be settling this case and that fund would be close to being depleted, why didn't we consider moving some of these surpluses funds into the litigation fund?
As I stated earlier, the 2016 budget, you actually, as a body, voted to appropriate $20 million into the fund.
Okay, but based on the settlement, we're going to work through a good portion of that, right?
That is correct.
Okay, and so we just did some transfers, and I'm wondering why we didn't consider moving anything into there, considering into that account, based on the fact that we knew we were going to work through a considerable amount of what's currently existing.
It's not necessary at this time, and as the year goes on, if we feel that we need to add more money to the fund, at that point we will do so.
Well, knowing that we have two other entities, both North Hempstead and the town of Hempstead, we think the remaining funds are going to take care of those?
Again, each settlement will be handled on its own merits, and it depends on what is negotiated.
Okay.
All right, I just have one brief comment, and we can vote on this, which is simply that it is completely ridiculous to me that the county guarantee applies to this case, but that's not something that's my call as decided by a judge, but it's completely absurd, and I think we all agree with that. In any event, all in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed? Passes. Oh, I'm sorry, and abstaining.
I abstain.
Okay, we have 5-0-2. Okay.
Right.
Five ayes, 0 noes, 2 abstentions. I just said current vote for it. All righty, motion to adjourn. Mr. Walker, seconded by legislator Muscarella. All in favor, signify by saying aye. And those opposed, pass unanimously, move back into rules.
Yeah, bus, and running over the county.
Yeah, I know.
It'll be my second. I hope tonight is not. I already know.
I can't say I love Shane as a person. No. I love Shane. Love or hate Shane. He doesn't make it.
No. I don't understand that. He doesn't get it.
He said he was speaking ill around the gym. They won't give you the time in a day. It's just like the other day. He says, highly educated professional with no ability to use right? The other day we're on a phone call and we were talking about the subject. What about this? Oh, that's nothing. Well, no, it is so. That's why I raised the concern. Well, don't worry about it. Right? You know, this is where my past, somebody who's been a manager, like, all right, duly noted. You know, what are your thoughts on that? What do you think the implications are? You know,
right? Not nothing. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, that's nothing. And he's, yeah, I'm not the greatest, debater either. I mean, a lot of times I get a thought in my head, you've got to interrupt the other person. But, he's constantly interrupting you to get your shot out.
Shane doesn't, I don't think Shane understands.
Well, no, he doesn't understand. I'll give you a prime example. Him and Vicky Richards have sent out a handful of memos. Some of them public, including for members or directors. And then 20 minutes later, it comes up a corrected version.
Because he doesn't have
He wants to volunteer part of How are you back in Plainfield? Fire chief, you're so he's got it. So anyway, I don't know how he sold it. I'm not saying I could do it. I think I can do a better job than Shane's doing. He's got a whole bunch of pissed off people. Connecticut chapter. I wasn't there. I heard this They, the NFSA, the people they contract with the NFSA, expensive. The website sucks. I have it's expensive. It sucks. It's not user friendly. Any of the stuff you would think would be easily maneuvered. I have to go through our department secretary to contact the people with the contracts so they can do this. I can edit like this, like my regional report, I can put stories in, stuff like that. So Connecticut, they know all this stuff. They got rid of it. We had one for years. This is ridiculous. He got rid of it. So the Connecticut chapter goes and gets rid of it. Well, we don't know if we want to do that. Let's talk about that. Let's discuss. It's like 10 minutes. John Bate, President of the chapter.
It's really not
It's
good
almost
enough.
why we're getting websites.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like a third of the pricing. And user-friendly. So 10 minutes later, Shane makes an announcement. He goes, you know, well, we had some discussion about it. You know, he says, it sounds like it works for you all, so there you go with it. Shane, go get another Miller and sit down.
It's how it is.
You know, I used to worry about getting fired. You know,
It's actually really nice out
if
now.
I get fired, I gotta go back to my job.
Yeah, that's all.
No,
Sure, I'm not gonna go to the day, but I feel, you know, a little jealous.
You gave me a folder. Oh. I can put it in my bag. Go put it in your bag. But I didn't respond to him.
He makes me go.
I made it 6:30, 6:45.
Go back and forth that.
Because, you
If
know,
I'm not there.
tail end of this choo-choo train, finding out half the rules, and so and like I said, you just gotta stay on it. You gotta make time now.
I'm expecting like a smaller group, like we're gonna walk through the auditorium.
Why, but she was actually, okay, all right.
You can only get that up to, you can only get
So I gotta do a couple items.
At this point in time,
you take it.
I move by legislator Downs, second by legislator Welch. All those in favor of suspending rules, signify by saying aye. Any opposed? The rules are now suspended. I'm going to go through the consent calendar first. All right, and the testimony from the previous committee should be incorporated into the rules committee. And I'm beginning with 100, 101, 103, 104, 105, 106, 107, 108, 109, 110, 111, 112, 113, 114, 115, 116, 117, 118, 119, and I believe that's on the agenda. And then, of course, we have on the agenda, we have 134, 137, 141, 142, one, no, that's it. All right? All those items that were just called and went through committees, signify by saying aye. Oh, sorry. Motion, please, Mr. Dunn. I move by legislator Dunn, second by legislator Nicolella. Okay? All those in favor of those items that were just called, signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any opposed? Okay. Any abstentions? I would imagine that all those, it's a consent calendar, so it passes unanimously. All right, now we go back to those items that are rules only, and I'm going to begin with item 36, which is a resolution opting into the state legislation in relation to special retirement plans for sheriffs, undersheriffs, and deputy sheriffs. Motion, please. Moved by legislator Capel, second by legislator Nicolella. And who's here to speak on this one?
I'm going to handle this one, Madam Presiding Officer. This is a resolution opting the county into state law, just as you said. It allows for the sheriff to designate at the beginning of somebody's employment that they are qualifying for the 50% time accrual for law enforcement purposes, so they qualify for the 20-year retirement.
Okay. Any questions for Mr. Mayor? Any public comment? There being none, all those in favor of 36 signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? So the item passes unanimously. Sometimes. They changed, they got a lot of pages. Okay, let's go to, okay, the next item is item 120, the resolution to accept a gift offered by a donor to the Nassau County Police Department. I'm going to ask for a motion, please. Moved by legislator Dunn, seconded by legislator Nicolella. Okay, Lieutenant.
Good afternoon, Lieutenant Greg Stefano. This is a donation from the Nassau County Police Department Foundation to donate 100 T-shirts valued at $750 for the Police Academy, Youth Academy program.
Okay. Any questions of the Lieutenant? Any public comment? There being none, all those in favor of item 120 signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? The item passes unanimously.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Lieutenant. The next item is item 129, a resolution requesting the legislature of the state of New York to enact and the governor to approve an act in relation to disability retirement benefits for sheriffs, deputy sheriffs, undersheriffs, and correction officers in Nassau County. Motion, please. Moved by legislator Dunn, seconded by legislator Nicolella. Are you going to talk to this one too?
Yes, I am, Madam President.
Okay.
So this is an item, it's a home rule message requesting that the state legislature change retirement disability services for corrections officers. Currently, a corrections officer can earn 3/4 disability if they are assaulted by an inmate in prison, injuries leading to disability retirement. However, the same offer is not presented to the officers if they are assaulted by somebody who is not an inmate. So in other words, if there is a, God forbid this scenario ever occurred, but an officer sitting at the guard booth, a drunk driver drives into the guard booth, the officer would have to retire at I think it's 1/4, it's 1/3, which is basic retirement. But if they were assaulted by a drunk driver who was in custody, they would earn the 3/4 retirement, or disability retirement. So this is just to give the corrections officers disability retirement protections in case they are injured while on the job, but not by an inmate. If that makes
Any questions
sense.
of Mr. Mayor on this item? There being none, all those in favor of item 129 signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? The item passes unanimously. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. All right, I have the next three items can be called together because they're all three are IMAs. The first one is item 131, which, by the way, was clocked in at 4:57 on April the 6th, 2016, which is a resolution to execute an IMA intermunicipal agreement with the village of Stewart Manor in relation to a project for a streetscape project on the east side of Colbert Avenue between Long Island Railroad and Tulip Avenue. I'm going to go all three together. 132, another item A, with the East Meadow Fire, in relation to obtaining 16 Panasonic touchpad F1 devices and related equipment. And, hold on, and the third item A is item 133, with the Mineola Memorial Public Library to renovate the Mineola Memorial Public Library. Motion, please. Moved by Legislator Capel, seconded by Legislator. I don't know if we need to talk about these, but they've been a long time coming. Is that it? Do you have anything else to
I can briefly describe what the items are. If you'd like
Sure
to
you
hear about them.
can, absolutely.
Sure, well, you know, it's mostly, I think you did the work for me. For the Village of Stewart Manor, it's a $100,000 streetscape. For the East Meadow Fire District, it is money for portable data terminals so that the firefighters have information on site as opposed to at the station house, and $10,000 for renovations to the Mineola Memorial Public Library.
Okay, any questions on these items? Aye. There being none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? There being none, the items pass unanimously. Now, getting there. Okay, now to the addendum, item 136, an ordinance for the prevention of fires by establishing uniform regulations for the control of fire hazards and for the enforcement of such regulations. Motion, please. Moved by Legislator Dunn, seconded by Legislator Nicolella. And I have to say, there are several people who have been here practically all day to speak on this item, and they're right behind you.
I know. I know they're right behind me.
So,
Mr. Priest is
Chief Priest is there. All right, so
I'm just going to let them get out.
let them do it.
Thank you, sir. Good evening, Madam Presiding Officer, members. What is before you in this item is a full rewrite for the first time in many, many years of the Nassau County Fire Prevention Ordinance. The Fire Prevention Ordinance is a unique document in New York State, which consistently helps Nassau County rank among the lowest death by fire rate of anywhere, especially for such a populous county in the state of New York. I'm here just to introduce it. I'm going to turn it over to Assistant Chief Michael Utaro, Assistant Chief Fire Marshal Michael Utaro, who literally underwent an immense effort to get this done, if you have any specific questions of him.
Okay. Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
I know we met with a couple of the, minority side. We also met with the councils from both the minority and the majority side. We discussed and we gave a brief presentation about the highlights. It's a document that's expanded from 100-something pages to almost 400 pages. It brings us into the 21st century. We had a lot of input from both fire protection contractors, the public, the business community, as well as fire safety advocates, and tried to basically tighten up the document and make it a document that we can work with moving forward. And if you have any questions, I'd be more than happy to try to answer them.
Any questions of Chief Otero? Okay, Legislator Nicolello?
I just have a couple of quick points. This is one of the things that this is doing is continuing or implementing automatic extinguishing systems at motor fuel dispensing locations, correct? Gas stations, basically.
Yes, sir. The state opted not to adopt that part in the new state code, and we will be adopting it in our new ordinance.
We think that's a very good idea. And then secondly, that requires fire alarm systems, etc., at pet stores and places where they have animals.
Yes, again, we have adopted that and amended our ordinance to include that as well, with an adoption period to give these businesses enough time to comply.
Very good. Thank you.
Minority Leader?
Just more of a comment. Just wanted to thank you for your time on Thursday evening, for spending with members of the caucus. We all felt that your presentation was very well thought out and very well done. And we were very impressed, and we just wanted to thank you again for taking the time out. And we plan to vote in the affirmative for this ordinance. So thank you again.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. Mr. Bavone, who's been sitting here patiently all afternoon. Richard Bavone.
Good evening, presiding officer and members of the legislature. Richard M. Bavone. I have offices at 308 East Meadow Avenue in East Meadow. I represent the Long Island Business Council, and also I have a private consulting firm that we are experts in building codes and fire safety. I've been working with Nassau County Fire Marshals for many years. We believe in this overhaul of this ordinance since the last, if I remember correctly, was in 1980. It's a very old ordinance, and historically throughout New York State, different types of industry, what they do is they change their code every 3 years to keep up with construction methods and new materials, and we think it's very important that this ordinance is changed at this time. This will bring the ordinance into compliance or into line with what New York State Building Code is. It's very important. This will make it easier for the developers, architects, engineers, and also we believe for the small businesses that are in Nassau County. To date, Chief Tusa and his staff have worked very hard, and actually Assistant Chief Utara has met with Long Island Business Council twice to discuss the fact that we are going to have a new ordinance in place. I have read the previous versions of this new ordinance, which is going to be coming into the full legislature, we hope soon, and we are in full support of this ordinance being passed, and we thank you, the legislature, and also the Fire Marshal's Office, which we think does a great job, is second to none. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bavone, and this will be on the April 25th calendar of the full legislature.
At 5 o'clock or 6?
We'd like to know that.
I'm going to give you a heads up. I'm sitting here all afternoon. And I have to say thank you to the Fire Marshal's Office as well, because I know you have been in communication with both sides of the aisle over the years, and I would say as recently as I would say early 2016. So I thank you for your hard work. It's something that was a long time in coming. But you know, sometimes what do they say? Anything worthwhile is waiting for. Well, guess what? This is certainly worthwhile. I'm sorry we had to wait so long. So thank you for all your help. Thank you, Mr. Bavone, for being here so long. And I hope you got some business done while you were here. Thank you so much. All right, all those in favor?
Public comment. Additional public comment.
We have some more? Okay, come on.
Okay.
Yes, sorry.
Hi, my name is Melissa Barber, and I represent the New York Fire Sprinkler Council. We're a division of the Mechanical Contractors Association, and the contractors in our association install, inspect, test, and maintain fire suppression systems in tens of thousands of buildings around New York City and Long Island. We reviewed the draft. We've worked with the Fire Marshal's Office. We applaud the efforts of the Fire Marshal's Office, obviously to strengthen the requirements, both in installation, inspection, testing, and maintenance, and also regarding the competency of the people performing that work. We have had some concerns. We still do, including some of the NYSET requirements, but we are going in the process of working with the Fire Marshal's Office in the next week, and we are confident that we're going to reach a resolution on those and look forward to supporting it. So, thank you.
Thank you very much. I do have a slip here. Sorry, I didn't call you, Melissa. And thank you too for waiting so long.
Sure.
All right. Any other comments for the legislators? There being none, all those in favor of 136, signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? The item passes unanimously. Now we're going to move along to, there are 3 items that I can hold together. They're all a gift to the police department, and it's items 138, 139, 140, and the resolution pertaining to the gift offered by donors to the Nassau County Police Department. Motion, please. Moved by legislator Thumb, seconded by legislator Nicolao. Okay, Lieutenant.
Good afternoon, Lieutenant Greg Stefanoff again. 13816 is a donation from the Nassau County Police Department Foundation to donate NCPD plaques to the precincts and the precinct center, costing approximately $3,189. These are going to be the round NCPD seal that will go behind the desk when the public walks in.
Okay, any questions of the lieutenant? There being none, we move on to the next one.
Item 13916 is to allow the Nassau County Police Department Foundation to donate approximately $6,250 to purchase ambulance complete GM service support package for a 2-year subscription. This is the computer that the ambulance will plug into that can read the computer on the ambulance, and it can reset the computer. Without this software, it would require a trip to the dealer, so we'll get the ambulance back on the street quicker.
Okay, any questions of the lieutenant on this item? There being none, go on to 140.
Item 14016 is to allow the Nassau County Police Department Foundation to donate approximately $10,000 to host civilian police academy classes, to run more classes.
Okay, that's a good thing. All right, any questions on this item? There being none, all those in favor of 138, 139, 140 signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? The items pass unanimously.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Lieutenant. All right, the next item, when went through finance, however, I'm calling it 143, a resolution authorizing the county attorney to compromise and settle the claims of different utility companies as set forth in various actions pursuant to the county law, the county government law of Nassau County, and the Nassau County Administrative Code. Motion, please. Moved by Legislator Dunn, second by Legislator Nicolau. All right, any further questions regarding this item? No further questions. No further questions, so I'm going to call the item. So all those in favor of 143 signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions?
Abstain, yes.
What's that mean?
Two yeses and one abstention.
So it's 6-1. All right, 6 in favor and 1 abstention, correct? Okay, thank you. 601. 601, I'm not playing the numbers. Okay, now Julie, this is you and me. This is you and me. All right, item 144. All right, an ordinance to provide information related to sun safety as lifeguards assigned to Nassau County outdoor pools, bathing beaches, and Nickerson Beach. I'm going to move it, and you're going to second it.
Talk to me or talk to the
Judy.
So Judy, well, you can't tell it.
I was given to Peter today.
All right, but we have till next month. We've got 2 weeks here. Yeah.
Okay.
So you've got to be seconded, otherwise I'm not calling this thing now.
I'm seconding it.
You know, next month is melanoma month is next May, you know, it's next month.
I know.
All right, okay, all right.
Said it's fine.
All right, okay. It does what we want it to do. Okay, all those in favor of 144 signify by saying aye.
Yes.
Any opposed? Okay, any abstentions? Okay, it passes unanimously. Of course, it'll go to the full edge on the 24th.
Absolutely.
All right.
And I just want to say, it's a very good thing because it shouldn't be needed, but in this day and age, with all we've read about melanoma and all the things that could happen, the horrible things that could happen to yourself, it's good that we're passing something that gives people protection and awareness of the dangers that they're out in, all of us, all the time.
And we're obligated to make sure that they do what they have to do. So, all right, guess what, guys? Motion to adjourn. Moved by Legislator Dunn, second by Legislator Nicolau. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Say aye, yes. Any opposed? Aye. We are now adjourned. Okay.
That's all right. She doesn't get it. Thanks. I thought you were so shocked. Thank you. Hey,
Mr. Clark, thank you very much. Thank you. Mr. Clark, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Good job.
Good job.
Good job. There's nothing else in the back?
Let's go on.
Judy.
Go on. And now he's going
I really have.
Oh, that big.
Smells bad in here.